Brought to you by stgamers.com. Here's another example of light infantry in the open. Cavalry just hitting hard on these Jaegers. And in this position here, if you have control of the cavalry and they're in a line, you want to attack the farthest unit so that your cavalry disrupts that entire line. While doing that, these guys can be shooting at them. I'm pulling them back because they're under artillery fire and light infantry fire. But moving up my line infantry to lock in with that light. That light right now is locked in with the cavalry. There's not much they can do. Already one unit wavering. So again, can't stress this enough. Light infantry should never be by themselves. Unless, for some odd reason, if your enemy doesn't have cavalry, that's the only reason they'd be by themselves. But see here, I attack the end unit, and that disrupts the entire line from firing. I can move up these guys, guard and line infantry, start shooting into them. Moving up my line infantry, they're moving up more light infantry here up on the hill, so I'm moving up my light infantry to counter that. And here I'm moving in on their main force, creating a crossfire here, which is being pretty deadly to this band of merry men right here. Not enjoying life, not liking wearing the Prussian uniform. So remember, Grand Tactical, that's what you want to remember. It's not a movie, it's a game, and you gotta play it right. Here's an example of mismanagement of troops. If you're not micromanaging, not keeping an eye on all your troops, you'll see here, 1, his light infantry is firing into the back of his line infantry. That's killing his own men. 2, he's allowed me to get my guards on his flank, and he hasn't turned to face me or repositioned. So my guards are going to start tearing this unit apart. Same here. You can see what this crossfire created. The 2 end units are getting hammered pretty badly, and the middle unit can't really do anything. It has no range of fire. And here was a mistake by myself, leaving my cavalry too long against these light infantry. If they haven't broken a couple seconds after your charge, you want to pull them out. Here I left them in and paid the price. Already one wavering. I think it's broken actually. So be careful with that. This is light infantry against guards in a square. Don't waste your light infantry. They're your range. Again, can't stress it enough. That's how you win battles, is range. You're not going to do anything against a guard unit in melee. Please save these men. Move them around. Be aggressive with them, but don't lock them in. Here's another unit that's been mismanaged, just sitting there, trying to win against a rotating line of Russian line infantry. Not going to work. Move them out, move back, get some position on them, and fire again. Don't just sit there and wait for them to win. And I'm seeing more of this too. Well, not seeing more of it, but with newer players, I should say, is a lot of light infantry. Maybe one unit if you're trying to spend all the money you have, all the large funds. Maybe one unit of light infantry just to fill it up. But you really want the 125 range riflemen, which for Prussia are the Prussian Jaegers. For Britain is the Green Jackets and the Ferguson riflemen, these 2 guys here. And for Austria, I don't think he has any, but they're the Jaegers as well. And for France, I've heard a couple different pronunciations of trailers or trawlers or however you want to say it. I don't know where they are. They're probably hiding. But the 125 range rifleman is what you want, because that gives you the advantage against line infantry, who can close a distance of 80 to 70 pretty quickly and start firing on you. You want the 125 range, as is seen here. These Ferguson riflemen taking shots at this unit of light infantry. Charging should be the last resort. This is not the last resort. It's the first 5 minutes of the game. Just trying to this unit of light infantry is trying to chase down my long riflemen, or not my long riflemen, but my high range riflemen, and they're running right into line infantry. Charging at all costs is not an effective way to win. Now, as a newer player on the battlefield, the multiplayer battlefield, you might see something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units of cavalry, and you might wet your pants. You might start freaking out and moving your army all around to try to face them, trying to, form a big box with all your units. You really don't have to worry too much about heavy cavalry if you've got line and guard infantry. You do have to worry if your light infantry is unprotected, but even if they come from behind, you gotta keep an eye on them. But if they come from behind and you square up your line or guard before they hit, or even during a scrap while they're hitting, you can fend off cavalry. It doesn't matter which direction they hit you from if you're in square. So don't be afraid if you see something like this, especially if they're going after your line infantry, because you can just square it up, move your light infantry out of the way, and chop the cavalry to pieces. So don't let the intimidation of a cavalry force on either of your flanks or anywhere really, don't let that dictate how you move your line, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to turn your line around, get all discombobulated, and then they hit you with their infantry, and you're sunk. So don't let a cavalry charge or a cavalry gathering, or however you want to call it, intimidate you into moving your entire line. Here's something that you can do as a defense if you want to protect the flank from cavalry. Put some stakes up in the woods. It's hard to see, and they'll try to charge through the woods. A good player won't, but newer players will charge through the woods to try and get to your light infantry. So just put up stakes as a precaution. Okay, also as a newer player, when using cavalry, it can be very effective, but when used in this way, to chase down light infantry in the woods with stakes put up, they're not effective at all. You'll see here, it's a massacre. Not only because of the stakes, but because of the heavy infantry behind it. Light infantry is safe, retreated behind the line. And then we have my line infantry squaring up. Already have a unit of cavalry wavering. This unit is already in a square. Cavalry charging again through the spikes into squares. Just spells death all over it. So it may look like at first that your cavalry is getting the upper hand, but as soon as they stop their momentum, that square will destroy them. And again, the light infantry is safe and sound. So when you see squares, immediately pull your troops back. Pull your cavalry back. They can be used for much better purposes than trying to break a flank of heavy squares. Thank you for watching this 4th installment of Empire Replay Review. We'll see you again next week.